Welcome everyone. So today we're going to look at the essay activity in H5P on WordPress. So this is a very useful, very interesting activity that you can create. So we have our picture here, optional. We have a prompt that says write a 300 to 500 word essay outlining the main causes of World War II. And then we have a box where the user can write their essay. And we have a little hint here that says, remember the book we read in class. Under it, we have remaining characters, 15,000. So this is the maximum number of characters you can have in this assignment. I designated this number. You can have it more than this, but this is what I designated. And I also designated a minimum, so it should at least be 1,000 characters to be accepted as an answer. And let's give this a sample answer. So I can say World War II happened because of annexation, fascism, and the Great Depression. So this is my answer here. I'm giving a very short answer. The rest of the answer I'll just fill with the same thing here. It doesn't really mean anything. So just to meet the minimum 1,000 requirement. So this all doesn't matter. But here's my answer. World War II happened because of annexation, fascism, and the Great Depression. I've set the answers. I've set the answers as keywords that I want to see the user use. And let me check my essay. It says I got 100%. Why did I get 100%? Because I used these keywords: fascism, annexation, and the Great Depression. So in this activity, you can set the answers as keywords that you want the user to use, and you give points based on those keywords, as many keywords as you want. So we're gonna dive deep. We're gonna see how to set these keywords, the answers, how to assign scores to them, and what other options there are. Okay, so let's see how we can create this. Let's get started. Creating an essay question activity using H5P on WordPress. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to your H5P content and you want to add a new activity. And you're going to look through the module list and you're going to find the essay module. And if it's not installed, you can click on Get to install it. Once it's installed, you can click on it to start creating your essay activity. So we'll start with the title. We'll give it a name. So we'll call this essay activity. We can add an optional image. I'm adding an image to my question. And here's my image, and the alternative text will be World War II. The hover text is optional. If someone hovers over the picture, some text might pop up if you add, or will pop up if you add the hover text. We'll leave that. We'll leave the image zooming. The image is not really important to the question, it's there more for aesthetics. Let's collapse this section and move on to the next section, and that is the task description. So this is an important part, and this part gives the instructions to the users on what they need to do, what the question is. And I've written something, so I'll just paste it here. So the instructions for this activity is to write a 300 to 500 word essay outlining the main reasons for World War II. We say main causes of World War II. There. So write a 300 to 500 word essay outlining the main causes of World War II. That is the instructions. The next part is a help text. So this is the text that you can give a hint. It will show in the text box where the user writes the answers. For example, I can say, remember the book we read in class. Remember the book we read in class. This is a hint. Then we move on to the solutions. So this is the important section that we need to complete. So this is a sample solution. They will see this after they submit their text, or after they submit their answer. They will see the solution. So we can say something like this: this is a sample solution and not the only correct answer. Your answer may be different. So we're telling them what the solution looks like, but we're also telling them that this is what it could look like, not necessarily exactly like this, because this is an essay question. And then you add your sample solution or the example solution. So I've written something here. This is a sample solution that they can look at, and let me just put in bold the three main ideas that we are looking for in this essay answer. So the first idea I'm looking for is fascism. So World War II started because of fascism. The second idea that I'm looking for is annexation. That is the other main reason for the start of World War II. So fascism, annexation, and the last reason, the last main point I'm looking for is the Great Depression. The Great Depression. The Great Depression. So these are the three main ideas I'm looking for in the answer. So they will only see this at the end of their answer. Once they submit their answer, they can see this example answer. Now we're moving on to the next part, and this part is the keyword. This is what we will use to automatically score or automatically grade the essays that are submitted. So what it basically does here is H5P will look for certain keywords that we designate as part of the answer. And if they find, or if it finds that keyword being mentioned, then it will automatically assign grades based on what we put in, what our criteria is. For example, our first keyword here comes from the first idea that we have, and that is fascism. That is the first main idea that we have. But we also have to keep in mind that a user might not specifically talk about fascism, but he might talk about fascists. So what we can do is we can use asterisks as wildcards. So what we can do is say the keyword here is fash and anything that comes after it. It could be fascism, it could be fascist, it could be fascists. So any word that starts with these letters, with these four letters, and has any number of remaining letters will be accepted as one of the main word, as one of the keywords, will be counted as correct. And it also here says you can use regular expressions to designate answers. We won't go over regular expressions. Regular expressions, that's an advanced language, coding language, where you can search a text for a specific string or a series of strings in a specific order. It's beyond the scope of what we're doing here, but you can look into it. So we're just using asterisks here to cover all of our different variants. Other than that, what we can do is we can keep this as fascism and add a variation of the keyword. Say here, fascist, or fascists, plural. This will give the same result. So we have three different keywords here. It is the same as typing the first 4 letters and then leaving a wildcard. A wildcard means anything can go here to replace the wildcard. Any combination of letters. 1 or more letters as well. So we'll keep that to cover our bases. The next part is designating the points. So if this keyword is found, how many points do we give? So if this keyword is found, let's give the user 30 points. So if they talk about fascism, they will get 30 points. And the next part says occurrences. So we define how many occurrences of the keyword or its variations should be awarded with points. Just once. It only needs to occur once. If it occurs more than once, they don't get extra points. If it occurs only once, they get 30 points. Case sensitivity, I will take that off. I don't want the answer to be case sensitive. That way, if they write just fascist or fascism with a small f, it will be seen as the same as a capital F. So it's not case sensitive. And we're also gonna forgive minor mistakes. So if they spell something wrong within two letters or 3 letters, we will give them the points anyways. So because this is not an English class, let's say this is a history class, so as long as they get the main idea, they don't have to spell everything perfect, we'll give them the points based on that. And feedback if the keyword is included. So if they do include the keyword in the essay, they get a feedback, and the feedback is great. You remembered to mention fascism. That's what they will get. If they don't get this keyword, or if they don't mention this keyword, we can say something like this. Wow, you forgot to mention fascism. Or you can give them some information about how fascism was one of the reasons or the causes of World War II. In the feedback, when you show the feedback, so what will happen is it will show the keyword, and beside it, it will show the note that you left. So it will show the keyword. The keyword here is right here. So it will show this with the asterisk, and next to it, it will show, great, you remember to mention fascism. you can change that to include the alternative found. So if you have variations and they mention one of the variations, then the variation will be mentioned. So we'll leave this as keyword, or you can also have none, not to show the keyword, just give the information. Feedback word, if the keyword is missing, we want to show the keyword to let them know what keyword they missed. Okay, so we have our first keyword here. We are done with it. So let's jump to the next keyword, and maybe in this second keyword we will add some variations rather than using the asterisk. So the second keyword that I want is, what did we say here? Annexed. So the keyword here is annexed, but we're gonna add some variations. So we're gonna add annexation. We're gonna add just annex. We're also gonna add invade. We're gonna add invaded. We're gonna add occupy. So all the different words that kind of mean the same thing, if they mention them. Occupation and occupied. I can also add takeover or took over, but these are already too many variations. So I don't like to have too many variations. So what I will do is I will do something like this. So for annex, can be annex plus annexation and annexed. So I'll delete the variation of annexed. So we have annex, could be annex, annexed, or annexation. They will all be accepted just by having this annex plus asterisk. For invade, what I can do is I can do invade plus asterisk. So that way you can have invade, invaded, and invading. I'll remove the other invade. For occupy, I can put occup plus asterisk. This could be occupied, occupying, occupation. It will accept all of them. So I have 3 keywords with different variations for each keyword. Again, they all, to me, they mean the same thing. They all talk about this idea of annexation. And we'll give this one 30 points as well for one occurrence. They don't have to mention it more than once to get the 30 points. I don't want it to be case sensitive, and I'm giving minor mistakes. So I'm doing everything I can to be as lenient as possible, so the user doesn't get deducted points for things that they might have mentioned but not in the way that I wanted them to. Feedback, I'm not really gonna write extensive feedback here. I'm just gonna say great. I'm gonna say no. Think again. My keyboard is not great and doesn't register all my keys, so I have to go back and keep writing. If a keyword is included, we're gonna add a... So for this one, we're gonna put the alternative found. So that way, if they use annex, invade, or occupation, it will show them the one they put. So If they used occupation, it will show them occupation. It won't show them annexed, which is the keyword. That is the main keyword. So we want them to see the variation of the alternative one if they do find the alternative, if they use the alternative. Feedback, for missing words, we just use the keyword. Okay, we have our second. So we just add one more keyword. You can add as many keywords as you want, but for us here, we're just adding 3 keywords. So the keywords here is the Great Depression. The Great Depression. I won't add any variations. I won't add any variations to this. Don't want to make this longer, but also the Great Depression. There could be too many variations, maybe talking about economic hardship or bad economies, but I want them to use this specific keyword, Great Depression. So what I can do is I can just change this and make it a bit. So we have 30, 30, and let's say this is 40 for a total of 100 occurrence once. I don't want it to be case sensitive. And forgive minor mistakes. If they include this, we'll say great. If they don't include it, we'll say no. And we want to show the keyword if they get it right. If they get it wrong, we also want to show the keyword. So now we have 3 keywords that I want to be used, and I have my example answer, I have my directions, and finally what we're going to look at is the overall feedback. The overall feedback, I'm not really worried about this. I won't make criterias, so this is basically just to add criterias for A, B, C, D, and F, and you give a range for each letter. We're not doing that. For behavioral settings, so this is important. So the minimum number of characters, I did say 300 words. So 300 to 500 words, but this is asking for characters. So maybe the minimum characters will be 1,000 words. And the maximum would be 15,000 characters. I don't want to read anything longer than that. And the input field size, this is the box that they will write their answer in. How many lines do you want it to be? You want it to be a really short box, or you want it to be a high box, a long box, or a big box? So I'll keep it at 10 lines, makes it a big box so that they know they have to write a lot in there. We're enabling retry. Scoring, so this ignores scoring. This gives feedback based on the keyword without the scoring. So it's not going to add up the 30, 30, and 40. You can click that to ignore, otherwise not. So I won't ignore it, and I'll just put the passing grade. Let's say the passing grade is 50%. So this one is the mastering percentage. So the mastering percentage basically tweaks the program to be either more lenient or more strict. So it gives some leeway to students. Even if a solution doesn't include all the keywords. I won't change that. If I put it at 100, if the mastering has to be 100%, that means it will just look at all of the keywords that I designated, and those will strictly be taken as the answers. If I put maybe 50%, it won't take that as the only grading criteria. So it will look beyond the keywords and be more lenient. That override case sensitivity. So this overrides the options that we set for all of our keywords. So if you set them differently for each one, this option here changes all of them. So you can decide not to set this option in any of the keywords that we created, and then you can just come down here and you say enabled, and it will enable it for all of the answers we set. So I'll just say enable just in case I forgot one. Override forgive mistakes, enable. So this will activate the forgive mistakes option for all of them. For text overrides, again, this is to override the default prompts and text in this activity. And you might want to do that if, for example, you want the text in the button that says check to be changed to say check my essay, or maybe redo instead of retry. That will change it. Or you can change all of it by using the provided languages if you want another language. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look at what our activity looks like. Let's not display the toolbar, and let's create our activity. So we have our picture. You zoom in, zoom out, and it says write a 300 to 500 word essay outlining the main causes of World War II. So let's give it a quick answer. What happened? I'm gonna just give my keywords because of spelled it wrong. Annexation, occupation, and fascism. So not nearly 300 words, but I'm just testing my keywords here. Annexation, occupation, and fascism. I think I got all three of them. I should get 100%. Okay, so it says you must enter at least 1,000 characters. I'm just gonna add something in there. So hopefully this gives me 1,000 characters. I'm looking down here, the remaining characters. I want to get to 14,000. Okay, so there, that's 1,000 characters, but I'm not really looking at the highlighted part. I'm just putting in the answer in the first part. So let's check our answers and let's see what they say. I'm expecting 100%. So I got 60%. That's right, because we set Great Depression. Okay, so you can see fascism. So the keyword here with an asterisk, and it still accepted fascism, so that worked. Annexation, we put annex plus the asterisk. We put annexation, gave us the answer. Great, great, you remembered. And for the last one that we got wrong, the Great Depression, we got our feedback that says no, that's not the right answer. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to change the occupation, change it to Great Depression. We would get 100%. But this is good because now we have the option to show the solution. If you remember the example solution that we gave, we can click show sample solution, and it says this is a sample solution and not the only correct answer. Your answer may be different, and it gives the solution that we gave, the sample solution that we gave. and it has fascism, annexation, and Great Depression. So it worked exactly like we predicted. Nothing is wrong with it. So if we want to display this on our website, we grab the shortcode here on the right side and we put it either in a page or a post. So I'll put it in a post, add a new post. Okay, so we have a new post. Let's give it a name. We'll call it number 15, essay, activity, and you want to add a shortcode block, so you can write short to look for it. We have here a shortcode block. Click on it and we paste our shortcode here. Okay, so we have our shortcode. Now we're going to publish the post, I'm sure, and we want to view our post to look at what it looks like. Okay, great. So we have our title post, we have our picture, we have our prompt, and we have the box to write our essay in. And all we have to do, we just say World War II happened because of let's use one of the variations that we assigned. So if you remember, we assigned different variations for the second keyword that we designated. For annexation, we said because of invasion. Fascism and the Great Depression. So that's what we said, and we have to get up to 1,000 characters. Okay, so we got 1,000 characters. So we have our answers here: invasion, fascism, and the Great Depression. I'm expecting 100. Hopefully I'll get 100. Let's check our answer. We got 70. Let's see, which one did we miss? Okay, annexation. Let's see why we missed annexation. Okay, I see. So the answer that we assigned for annexation, we said it can have invasion, but what we should have done is we should have taken out the D, because invasion doesn't have a D. So it would be something like this. This way it can use invade, invasion, and invading as well. So that is fixed now. Let me just do this very quickly. Let me refresh. Okay, so that should be fixed. We have invasion, fascism, and the Great Depression. And let's check our answers, and we got 100%. We have fascism, invasion, and Great Depression. 3 keywords that were mentioned here, and we got 100%. We can still see the answer, and it shows us the answer here. So this is a great tool, and you can go in depth with your answers and the keywords that you designate. I know a lot of people don't like reading through long essays. This could be a very good screening, even first, could be a first layer of a few layers of grading. You can run it through this and then read it yourself if something seems to be off, or you can use this as a way of grading the whole essay and giving grades based on this. This is a standalone activity. If you wanted to include it in a bigger test, you can have a question set or interactive workbook where you can include this essay activity alongside other activities that we have seen before. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, put them down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching this video and let me know what you think.